In this video, we're going to look at all the relevant points for Task 9 of Year 2020's DSE Paper 3B2. Alright, so let's take a look at the instructions first. Once you've done that, please write a report about the incident on the MAT for me to send to the management committee. So our task is to write a report about an incident. So something happened and we need to report what really happened. So there are a few parts. So explain what happened to the girl involved. So that would be our paragraph A. And the next thing would be the conclusions reached by the doctor. So that would be paragraph B. Now we need to explain why there is a failure with the machine. So that would be paragraph C. Sorry for my handwriting again. And last but not least, we need to present the recommendations that have been agreed on, which will be our paragraph D. Alright, so let's see what really happened. Let's start with what happened to the girl first. So remember, for a report, we need to be really factual and we need to include as much useful information as possible. So of course, date and time, who is involved would all be necessary information for our report. Right, so here is the medical form. So the person involved would be this little girl, Miss Ray Liu, and she is 11 years old. And what happened is that you could see she got stuck in the MAT machine for about 30 seconds. So this is what happened to her. So these would be useful for 9A, what really happened for the incident. And then another thing would be she complained of having a severe headache. So that's another thing. Some of you might have copied this, arrived in the doctor's office at 11:15, but this is actually not the time where the incident happened. So we need to go to some other pages to see what really happened, and that's in this page 9 of the data file. So we could see date or time of incident would be 9:45 a.m. of 26th of March 2020. So this is the date and time of the incident. So this would also be useful for paragraph 9A. Right, so in paragraph 9B, looking back at the instructions, we need to talk about the conclusions reached by the doctor. So let's go back to the medical examination form. We could find the conclusions here. As a precautionary measure, I called her parents and then I took her to Wagland Memorial Hospital where no issues regarding her health was observed. So this will be useful for 9B, the conclusions reached by the doctor. But remember, we need to change all these I into the doctor because the doctor is not the person writing the incident report. Or you could simply say Dr. C.C. Young, which could be found from here. Alright, so this would be for 9B. So as a precautionary measure, the doctor called her parents and took her to Wagland Memorial Hospital where no issues regarding her health was observed. So we simply need to copy this without copying the pronouns. Alright, and then for paragraph 9C, we need to give explanation for the MAT's failure, and we could find it again in page 9. So the problem would be motor failure, so that's for 9C. And the reason for the motor failure is because there are tiny droplets of water that's dropped onto this multi-axis train in the MAT. And the reason why there are tiny droplets of water is because there's micro cracks in the roof. And then, why is the roof cracked? That's because there are falling branches by the storm. So these would be included in paragraph 9C, the explanation of the issue. Last but not least, we need to give recommendations that's agreed on. So we could go back to this page first. The recommendation is first to seal micro cracks on roof, so that's a recommendation. But then that's not all. We need to combine two pieces of information. We need to go back to the meeting minutes, which is on page 5, the MAT incident. So here, cut back the branches of the trees above the MAT building. And then Mr. Wong agreed with Ms. Ochoa's additional recommendation. So that's why this is a piece of information that we need to copy. And another thing, how the roof would be sealed would be with a silicone sealant. Okay, so these two would be for paragraph 9D. And there we go. We got all 9 pieces of useful information for task 9 already.